Hey everyone, Epic Edge here and welcome to Expedition 101 for Epic 7. Expedition has gone through quite a few changes recently and it is now a fantastic source of materials to make your hero stronger. Unfortunately, some people are still having trouble building teams for the different expeditions and scoring enough points. And I guess that's why we're here today. So this video is a part of a series, so if you came from one of my other expedition videos, you can skip the rundown and go straight to the teams. I'll have the timestamps in the description below, so make sure to check that out. Before we get into the actual teams though, let's have a quick rundown of some things to keep in mind while you're doing expeditions. So over here, we're always going to do expedition level 3, okay? Expedition level 1 and 2 are not worth your time and are not worth your energy, not worth your effort, because the rewards are simply too little. You're really going after stuff to your reforged materials. You're going after the substat modification gems, and level 1 and 2 just don't give you enough to be worth your time. So we're always going to have to do expedition level 3. Now you might have noticed that participants are now up from 5 to 8, and that's a great thing really, because you know with a maximum of 8 participants, the minimum one-run score is now down to 225k. So if your previous scores were sub 300,000, congrats, you know, your team is probably now scoring enough. However, the increase in maximum participants isn't without its drawbacks. With more slots available, that means more leeches can join your runs. It's unfortunate, you know, but I'm still seeing a lot of people score sub 200k in expeditions, and I know that a lot of people are trying to clean up their friends lists, but you will always find more than a few. Unfortunate, but it's true, right? So that said, you still want to score as many points as you can so that you can pad your lead, you know, have a bit of a cushion just in case. So our target one-run score should be at least 450,000. This way you're automatically covering at least one person's share. Now, for those of you who are currently struggling with expedition, that may sound like a lot, but it's actually, you know, very doable. And I will show you that you don't really need god tier gear to achieve at least 400 to 500k. Now with that said, let's go straight into the teams. And this is the team that we are going to bring with us to this fight. We have Luna, Terranorguard, Crow, and Tamarin. Now Tamarin here, relatively decent, 208 speed, 15k health. She is on the Tome artifact just because I want her to have as much combat readiness as possible, because she plays a very important role in this team. You want her to be able to cleanse, you want her to heal, you want her to push, you want her to give attack buff. There's just so many things that Tamarin does for the team and its success, so that you want her to cycle as fast as possible. Next we have Crow. Crow is built more for PvP-ish, but his bulk here is important because naturally as the boss will attack the front line first, but I enjoy using Crow because of his S3. When he horses, and he will be able to horse, if the timing is right, you can sometimes do 2 in one run, and so he's not just there to be a meat shield, he is capable of dealing a fair amount of damage for a tank. Now onto the warriors here. First, let's take a look at Terranorguard. Terranorguard, decent, not the greatest, but fairly decent. You will notice I have him at level 50, but if you want to turn him into a 6-star, very much you're welcome to do that. You know, you're very much welcome to do that. I have him on Victorious Flag simply because I want the damage reduction of 13.6% at the level that I'm on. He's because mine is at level 50, his defense isn't where I would prefer it to be, and so I want that damage reduction to help keep him alive. Now last we have our DPS, and it is Luna. I have her on an attack and crit set, and She has about 3-9 attack, 303 crit damage. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with Luna, you might be wondering, hey, 56% seems extremely low. Is she even gonna crit? Yes, she is. And that's because of her passive. When you max it up, she will gain 30% attack and crit hit chance when she is above 50% health. So 56 plus 30 is 86, and then elemental advantage of 15, so it's 100% crit. I don't really have much other artifacts that Luna can use or would probably want to use, so I have her on Oberius Tooth. Fortunately only plus 24, but good enough for our purposes. And that's the team. These are their stats. And now let's see them in action.
Yep.
I'm charging.
Over here.
Move out.
Hello?
Prepare yourself.
Spear of Ragnar. Bleed. Go away.
Emergency! Is it emergency?
Look at me. Hello?
Move out! Prepare yourself.
Over here.
Move out!
Listen to my song. Shine free. Dragon Twilight. Together. Don't worry. On my honor as a dragon, I will punish you.
Let's see how long you can endure.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's shine! Yes!
Shall we begin?
Yep! I will shatter you. Back up. Listen to my song. Shine free. Burning hatred. A desire for revenge. Here! I'm on my way. Look at me.
I'm charging.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's shine!
All troops, advance!
Go away! Spear of Ragnar! Bleed!
And that was how that team works. Now, I know what some of you are thinking just about now. Edge, what if I don't have those units? Can you recommend replacements? And yes, I can. If you need to replace Crow, Tywin is one of the best options. He has defense break, he has CR push, and offensive buffs here in terms of crit hit chance and attack. So that makes him really good for this fight. What I will say though is that if you have him built as a cleave enabler, he might not have enough bulk to withstand multiple hits. If your Tywin usually needs this defense buff to survive, you might not have enough bulk, but switching him over to Sword of Azera should be able to do the trick. Now, speaking of bulk, Crozet is perfect if all you need is a meat shield to absorb damage. His skills don't matter because you cannot reduce combat readiness of the boss anyway. His passive is pretty good in this fight. His S1 is okay, you know, it's okay. But if you want to use him, you're probably just gonna use him strictly as a meat shield, absorb as much damage, and help keep your guys alive. Now, Rose is another one, but if you want to try Rose, you'll probably need to adjust the speed of the rest of the team and, you know, pump it up a lot higher than what I have. And that's because I think Rose is best utilized if she goes last on the team. But at the same time, she needs to be definitely at least 190 to 200 plus to really get the most out of what she can do for your team. Now, as for debuffers, we can always use SSB. I won't go into detail with her skills, we all know what she does. What I will say though is if you use SSB, there's two things that you need to keep in mind. The first is you're gonna have to turn off her skills, because if you stick too many debuffs on the boss, he's gonna come back with a vengeance and throw all those debuffs back in your face. And the second thing is the defense break chance is only 50% even if you fully max out a Molagora on this skill. So there is a little bit of volatility in your runs if you use SSB as your main defense breaker. Now, you can also use Luluka. Luluka is great because she has defense break on her S3 and her S1. Now, not a lot of people like using her in PvE because of her non-attack skill, which is a barrier and defense buff. But in this hunt expedition, she's actually really good. This is pretty good in terms of keeping everybody alive, extending the fight so that you can do more damage. Now, if you are okay with using units who are not ice, I highly recommend using Tenebria and Bal and Sazan. This is because they have defense break and speed debuff on their kit. Plus, they are perfect debuffers for the Earth Expedition. So that's something to keep in mind. They of course need to be fast with good effectiveness, yada yada yada. You should know that by now. Now, as for DPS, there are only a very few units who you would probably want to use. Luna was one of them because of her EE, and in the same vein is Kisei. Kisei recently got an exclusive equipment for her S1 that increases combat readiness, so she will fulfill the same role as Luna, more or less. She is capable of hitting hard if you build her that way, and you know, she deserves some love, right? She used to be a really good unit when the game first came out, and she just quickly faded into obscurity until her recent exclusive equipment. Now, outside of that, there's not much choice in terms of ice units, but one very good choice here is Lena. I was actually using Lena before Luna, and that was because, you know, I was using Lena as a farmer for a bit of time. Her S1 has 20% combat readiness for herself. She's very budget friendly. in terms of not eating up all your resources. And you know, she's good. She's a good farmer. You can use her in places outside of this expedition. And yeah, the thing is, you know, I just transferred Lena's equipment onto Luna, so I can tell you that she's actually, you know, capable of doing enough damage. Definitely capable of doing enough damage. Using her as your main DPS, I can say that you're guaranteed at least 400. You can easily hit 450 if you have good gear. And yeah, those were the replacements. You know, those are the ones I would recommend if you decide to follow the idea behind the team that I've made. I will say though that I do have a different team that works, you know, a little different from the one I just showed, but unfortunately that one is not ready quite yet. I still need to farm some more gear, but once that team is ready, I'll definitely share it with you guys. Now, if you do decide to give this team a try, or if you were able to tweak it and score higher than I did, please, and I really mean this, please share what you did in the comments below. I would love to read that, and I'm sure anyone who stumbles across this video would be appreciative, you know, to have a team that deals good damage in these expeditions. And that's gonna do it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you found this helpful. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, stay epic.